Family Law 1, Hindu Law, Hindu Marriage Act 1955, Judicial Separation Section 10, Divorce Section 13, Divorce by Mutual Consent Section 13B, and Customary Divorce Section 29 Clause 2 are the topics for discussion today. Dear student friends, you are aware that I am Dr. Rega Suryarao, Senior Professor and Principal Retired Aided Law College, Fulton, Satara District, Maharashtra, India. Before going to take up my lecture on judicial separation and divorce from Family Law 1, Hindu Law, let me take just 1 minute with your kind permission to pray God, pay homage to my parents, late Rega Apparao and late Srimati Kantaratnam, my beloved wife Mrs. Baliwada Tirumala Gauri, advocate and co-author of all my academic assignments and publications. Let me express my deep sense of gratitude to my godfathers, in particular my student friends who are instrumental for what I am now. And finally, I wish to express my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to authors of the textbooks and authors of research papers and articles published in internet, with the help of which I prepared a detailed lecture for the purpose of delivering and uploading for you. Now, the topic for discussion is judicial separation and divorce. The Hindu Marriage Act 1955 is law relating to regulation of marriage, divorce, adoption, maintenance, minority, guardianship among Hindus. In previous classes, I explained about marriage, importance of marriage, significance of marriage, objects of marriage, sacrament, sacrosanct, restitution of conjugal rights, nullity of marriage and all, annulment of marriage. Here, marriage, the purpose of marriage is to unite the couple. Everyone who gets married wish to live together throughout the life. Every individual, man or woman, gets married with sincere, honest, strong inclination to live together. Wife wishes to live together with husband, husband wishes to live together with wife throughout the life, except in rare cases, very few cases, everybody wishes to continue their life till the destination of a last milestone. However, due to some reason or other, some problems may take place between husband and wife. Some couple, tolerating these problems and conflicts, continue their journey throughout their life. There are several couples who are having problems regularly. They continue their journey till end of their lives, but they never get exposed and go approach court for separation by means of judicial separation or divorce. However, some couple come out, approach the court seeking some relief to get separated. Such of those couples who decided not to live together and get separated at any cost, with a doubt of serious consequences in near future, suspecting threat to life and suspecting threat to safety and security of life may approach the court for dissolution of the marriage. When once either of the parties or both the parties get prepared to dissolve the marriage, get prepared to separate, they approach the court for dissolution of the marriage or cancellation of the marriage by the process of divorce. However, when either of the parties or both the parties approach the court will not dissolve the marriage immediately, and it will give reasonable time to the parties to reconcile or rethink and try to restore peaceful life and continue their matrimonial life throughout their life. But that is why divorce will not be, the decree for divorce will not be sanctioned directly. In first stage, judicial separation is granted. In second stage, divorce is granted. So, divorce, judicial separation is suspension of matrimonial relations between husband and wife for a specific period of 1 year. Divorce is dissolution of marriage forever. Judicial separation is a provisional partition of couple, husband and wife. Judicial separation is dissolution of marriage, whereby the husband and wife get separated forever. In other words, by process of divorce, that is dissolution of marriage, the marriage between a man and woman comes to an end. So judicial separation is suspension of conjugal rights, suspension of marital relations for a particular period, that is 1 year, so that this matrimonial relations between husband and wife, conjugal relationship between husband and wife is suspended through the court of law for 1 year, giving the couple an opportunity to think and act whether living together with stray incidents of conflicts is better, or living separately leading isolated life is better. The matrimonial relations are suspended by court temporarily for a period of 1 year to check whether to live together is good or to get separated is good. Even this 1 year, both the parties to marriage, that is husband and wife, still think that separation is better rather than living together. Then after 1 year, they can approach the court for dissolution of the marriage. So, judicial separation is not granted to the parties directly. It is judicial separation is given in the first instance, and divorce, judicial separation, divorce is not granted directly. In the first instance, judicial separation is granted. If judicial separation, if the parties do not restore their life, then they can approach the court for divorce. So, judicial separation is suspension of conjugal rights for 1 year through court of law. Divorce is dissolution of marriage through court of law or other process forever. Divorce, judicial separation suspends matrimonial relationship for 1 year. Divorce dissolves the marriage. Divorce puts an end to the marriage. Here, first I want to take up judicial separation in Hindu law. Section 10 of the Hindu Marriage Act deals with judicial separation. Section 10 of the Hindu Marriage Act deals with the judicial separation. This judicial separation under Hindu law takes place in three ways. Number one, judicial separation and fault grounds. There are 13 grounds available to woman, 9 grounds available to man. 9 grounds are common to fault. 9 fault grounds under section 13 clause 1 are common to husband and wife. In addition to these 9 grounds, 4 more grounds are available, additional grounds are available to women under section 13 clause 2. So section 10 deals with judicial separation. Section 13 deals with divorce. You may come across the doubt how the provisions of divorce are relevant here in judicial separation. Here, when a wife or husband wants to approach court for judicial separation or divorce, they must show some reasonable cause. That the petitioner, the person who approached the court is called petitioner, he is not happy due to the behavior of the respondent, husband or wife as the case may be. There are 9 common grounds. Before 1976, the grounds for judicial separation and the grounds for divorce are different. After 1976 amendment, the grounds for judicial separation and the grounds for divorce are common. So, whatever grounds are explained in judicial separation will be the same in divorce also. I explained these grounds in judicial separation so that I need not explain again in divorce also. So, judicial separation takes place in three situations. Number 1, fault grounds. Number 2, breakdown grounds. Number 3, alternative relief. Judicial separation as alternative relief for divorce. There are 3 situations under which the decree of judicial separation is granted to the petitioner. And in divorce, there are 3 categories of divorce I will take up later. Now, when a wife or husband wants to dissolve the marriage, they cannot dissolve the marriage directly. In first stage, the married woman or married husband who is not happy with the other spouse due to one reason or several reasons can approach the court for judicial separation by filing a petition under section 10 of the Hindu Marriage Act in district court or under section 23 of Special Marriage Act in family court. So all disputes relating to wife and husband, all matrimonial disputes are to be filed in district court. Local district court is the competent court to decide the matrimonial matters. In view of increasing pending litigation, so many special courts were established. In alternative dispute resolution subject, so many lectures I delivered about arbitration, conciliation, mediation, lok adalats, fast track courts, juvenile courts, labor courts, tribunals and everything. Like that, there are so many. In order to clear the pending litigation to reduce the pendency of cases in crores. So many special legislations are passed, so many special courts are established. So, in order to give speedy relief and in order to reduce the pending litigations, family courts also are established side by side to dispose of the cases very quickly with, with simple cost of litigation, with simple, in order to reduce cost of litigation, in order to minimize the court procedure, family courts are also functioning. In every district there may be one family court. For two districts there may, depending upon the work, the state government, in consultation with the high court of the respective state, establishes a family court in a district where the population is 10 lakh and above, 10 lakh and above, under Family Courts Act 1984. There are about 84 family courts in India, out of which in family courts the women judges, the women candidates are preferable for appointment as the judges of family courts. But however, out of 84 family courts, 18 female judges, women judges are appointed in India. So, if a wife or husband wants to file a petition for judicial separation, if he wants to file a petition in district court, it should be filed under section 10 of the Hindu Marriage Act. If he or she wants to file a petition for judicial separation in family court, it should be filed under section 23 of the Special Marriage Act. Both district court and family courts are having civil and criminal jurisdiction. Now, this when a wife or husband wants to file a petition for judicial separation, certain conditions are to be satisfied. Number one, the wife and the parties to the marriage, husband and wife, that is petitioner and respondent, must be Hindus. The marriage is, the both petitioner and respondent must be Hindus, and the marriage is valid according to Hindu law under section 5 of the Hindu Marriage Act. So the petition should be filed in local court of local district court competent to try the case. The petition is to be filed in the place of residence or place of work of the respondent. Place of work of the respondent. The petition must be as per Order 7, Rule 1 of the Code of Civil Procedure. The petition should contain date of marriage and place of marriage, names, addresses and other particulars of wife and husband, that is petitioner and respondent, the children if any, children if any, and professions, properties, etc. Where the grounds, one ground or more than one ground on which the petition is filed. Petition is filed for judicial separation, that should be paid. The supporting evidences, if any, affidavit if any, or to affidavit to that a declaration supporting affidavit to that effect, all these are to be furnished. So this is the then the petition must be intact for to be considered or entertained by the district court. The district court, if the petitioner wants to file a petition for judicial separation in a family court, it should be filed under section 23 of the Special Marriage Act 1954. So the the trial proceedings in district court are different from the family court. In family court, the trial proceedings, the procedure for judgment procedure is very simple. There will be in the cost of litigation is very simple, and there will be mediators, counselors, they will guide, and the matrimonial dispute, husband and wife problem, will be solved at the lowest cost of litigation in a earliest point of time. But in district court, the procedure, there will be number of cases pending. There may be inordinate delay. Sometimes the district court may entrust this job to transfer this case to corresponding family court also. Now, when how the petition is to be, we have discussed. Now, what are the grounds under which husband or wife can file a case? According to section, the grounds for judicial separation and divorce were different before passing of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. After passing of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, the grounds for judicial separation and divorce are same common. Here there are 13 grounds which are called fault grounds. Fault grounds. So 9 grounds are common to husband and wife. In addition to 9 grounds, 4 more grounds are there. These are additional grounds available to wife only, married woman. Here, section 13, clause 1 contains 7 clauses with 9 grounds. These 9 grounds are common to husband or wife. On one ground or more than one ground, wife or husband can file a petition under section 10 of the Hindu Marriage Act. In addition to these 9 grounds, section 13 clause 2, there are 2 clauses. Section 13 clause 1, there are 2 subsections, clause 1 and clause 2. There are 4 more grounds. 4 more grounds. So 4 more grounds available to the wife. Available to the wife. What are these grounds? We have to discuss. So this number 1 is fault grounds. Section 13 clause 1 provide for 9 grounds. Section 13 clause 1 subsection 1 to 7 contain 9 clauses for 9 grounds. 9 grounds. Section 13 clause 1 subclause 1 contains adultery. Section 13 clause 1 subclause 1a deals with cruelty. 13.1 clause 1b speaks about desertion. So section 13 clause 1 subclause 1 has 3 grounds. One is adultery, second one is cruelty, third one is desertion. Wife or husband can file a petition for judicial separation on the ground of adultery or cruelty or desertion. Adultery means the other spouse is having extramarital relationship, illegal sexual intercourse with some other who is not the spouse. So if wife can file a petition that my husband is living in adultery, my husband is adulterous, he is living in adultery with some married woman or unmarried woman. Suppose if the husband files a petition, my wife is having illicit intercourse with others, actually is having extramarital relations, she is adulterous or she is living in adultery. That is, she is unchaste. Simply speaking, she is unchaste. So adultery is section 13, class 1, subclass 1, adultery. Under subclass 1, A speaks about cruelty, B speaks about desertion. Cruelty means ill treatment. In some couple, husband is ill-treated. In some couple, wife is ill-treated. Suppose wife can file a petition against husband for cruelty. My husband is cruel. He is beating. He is harassing. His mother is beating, harassing. There are so many cruelty. There is a physical cruelty, mental cruelty. Domestic Violence Act also was passed to eradicate cruelty in matrimonial home. So, the cruelty may be physical cruelty or mental cruelty. Mental cruelty means when wife is ill-treated in a matrimonial home, husband is keeping silence, he is not protecting. And similarly, there are some cases, husband doesn't speak to wife for years together, wife doesn't speak to husband for years together, still they continue, they do not come out for judicial separation or divorce. That is mental cruelty. That is cruelty. Cruelty may be physical or mental. Third one is desertion. Desertion means husband doesn't like wife or wife doesn't like husband. Suppose the husband always tries to avoid wife. He doesn't touch wife's body, or he doesn't allow the wife to come to him. Desertion, avoiding. They do not cohabit. They do not have a conjugal relationship at all. This is third. Section 13, class 1, subclass 1, these three grounds. Subclass section 13, class 1, class 2, the fourth ground is conversion. If other spouse converted into other religion, suppose he is Christianity or Islam or others, conversion is a good ground. Conversion is a good ground. So my husband took Christianity. My husband professed Islam. Or similarly, my wife professed Islam, or my wife took Christianity, like that. So because conversion is because the basic condition is husband and wife must be Hindus. The marriage must be valid according to Hindu law is the primary condition. If conversion takes place, the marriage is not valid. And the next condition is four grounds are over. Fifth ground, class 2, conversion. Class 3 relates to insanity. Class 3 relates to insanity. Class 2 relates to insanity. What do you mean by insanity? Capacity of parties is most essential condition for entering into a contract. According to section 12 of the Indian Contract Act, an insane is not competent to enter into contract. So when husband and get married, it is also like a contract. Both must be of sound mind. Husband must be of sound mind. Wife must be of sound mind. Suppose unknowingly the man and woman got married. Subsequently, the petitioner came to know that the respondent is insane, unsound mind, suffering from mental disease. Suppose if the respondent is insane, if the respondent is of unsound mind, if the respondent is incompetent to enter into contract, if the respondent doesn't know what is right and what is wrong, incapacity, insanity, unsoundness or mental abnormality or mental disease of the mind renders the marriage invalid. So that is why on the ground of insanity, the petitioner can file a petition. The petitioner can file a petition against the respondent. That is section 13, clause 1, subclause 3. Next, sixth ground is leprosy. Leprosy, the very serious disease. If the respondent is suffering from, whoever approaches the court is called petitioner. The other party is called respondent. The petitioner is wife. The respondent is husband. If the petitioner is husband, the respondent is wife. You have to presume like that. So next one is leprosy. Section 13, clause 1, subclause 4. Leprosy. Leprosy is most serious disease. My other spouse is having suffering from leprosy. I cannot live together with him. I want divorce. That is this thing. Second day, next disease, next one is venereal disease. Ground, seventh ground is venereal disease. Section 13, clause 1, subclause 5. Venereal disease. This is a venereal disease, sexual disease. Disease out of sexual intercourse with some prostitutes or something. That is venereal disease is contacted. If other spouse is having suffering from venereal disease, the petitioner can seek judicial separation or divorce. Next ground is renouncing the world, renunciation of world or renouncing the world. So one of the main objects of marriage, eighth ground is renouncing the world. The respondent renounced the world. Here, one of the main objects of marriage is conjugal life, rati sukham. So the one of the most important purpose of marriage is the conjugal life. Suppose the respondent renounces the world and joins sannyasi. So sannyasi means he doesn't want any. He goes to service of some god. He or she dedicates himself to service of the god. They join in some charitable organization, praying the god, and no wife, no children, no any relation. When the other spouse renounced the world without any matrimonial relations, then this spouse can invoke it as a ground for seeking divorce. That is renunciation of world, sannyasi. Last ground, ninth ground is civil death or presumption of death. Suppose if husband whereabouts are unknown for 7 years, husband is deemed to be dead or presumed to be dead. If wife's whereabouts are unknown for a period of 7 years according to law, that person is dead. This is called presumption of death or civil death. So this is ninth ground. This is the ninth ground. These are the 9 grounds. 9 grounds, namely adultery, cruelty, desertion, conversion, insanity, leprosy, venereal disease, renunciation of world, that is becoming sannyasi, and unheard for 7 years, that is civil death or presumption of death. These are the 9 grounds. So we can say in the place of leprosy and venereal disease, any infectious disease after 76 Amendment Act, any infectious disease is a good ground for judicial separation or divorce. These 9 grounds are not only grounds for judicial separation but also for divorce. Judicial separation is for suspension of conjugal rights for 1 year, and divorce petition is for dissolution of marriage for end, to put an end to the marriage. These are the 9 common grounds for husband and wife. In addition to these 9 grounds, 4 more grounds are available to wife. That is section 13(1) provide 9 common grounds for husband and wife. Section 13 clause 1 provide 9 common grounds for husband and wife, whereas section 13 clause 2 provide 4 more additional grounds to wife alone. They are 13(2). Number 1, bigamy. Clause 1, bigamy. Clause 2, rape, sodomy and bestiality. Clause 3, child marriage. Clause 3, no cohabitation even after decree for maintenance or decree for restitution of conjugal rights. Fourth one is child marriage or repudiation of marriage. So in addition to those 9 grounds, a married woman can invoke 4 more grounds. First one is bigamy. See, a woman can say that my husband is having another wife. He got married to another before my marriage, or after my marriage he got married to another woman. On that ground, bigamy, I told you, having 2 spouses. If a woman has 2 husbands, it is bigamy. Wife has husband has 2 wives, it is bigamy. 3 and above wives, polygamy. 3 and above husbands, polyandry. Suppose wife can file a petition against the husband for bigamy, saying that my husband got married prior to my marriage, or my husband was already married, but he concealed the fact, and on that ground, the second married woman can file a case. This is bigamy under section 13, clause 2, subsection 1. And second ground is section 13, clause 2, subclause 2, rape, sodomy, bestiality. Rape means rape under section say 375, or rape under section 375 A, B, C, D, custodial rape. If the husband is guilty of rape and likely is sentenced to imprisonment for 10 years or life imprisonment. If the husband is guilty of section 377 IPC, sodomy, sex with same sex. My husband is having sex with another man, that is sodomy. Bestiality, my husband has a bad habit of having sex with animals, that is bestiality. Rape, sodomy, bestiality is clause 2 under section 13, clause 2. Third one is even after judicial separation or divorce petitions may be filed within for judicial separation. Petition can be filed within few months of the marriage. For divorce petition, there must be minimum 1 year for filing petition for divorce. But there is no fast and fast rule. Even after leading 10 years to married life, or 20 years married life, or 30 years married life also, petition for judicial separation can be filed, and petition for divorce may be filed, because in some cases they are happy for 15 or 20 years. After 15-20 years of marriage, disturbances may start, then they may go for judicial separation or divorce. So that is why for filing petition for judicial separation, minimum period of 1 year is not necessary. It may be 1 month or 2 months, or as prescribed by the court. And the thing is, the parties are living together, living separately. The parties are living separately. They are unable to live together. To file a petition for judicial separation or divorce, the petitioner should say that the petitioner is unable to live together, living separately. The parties are living separately. For judicial separation, minimum, there is no any specific period. For judicial separation, they are separated for more than 1 year, because unable to live together. That is the condition. Here, no cohabitation. Previous, suppose a 10-year-old married couple or 20-year-old couple, between them restitution of conjugal petition is there, a decree is granted, but the respondent even after receiving a decree for restitution of conjugal rights, the respondent is not joining matrimonial society. Even though the court can order the couple to live together, but the court cannot make the couple cohabit. Like we can take the horse to pond, but we cannot make the horse to drink the water. That like that, the court can order the husband and wife to live together by granting the decree of restitution of conjugal rights, but the court cannot make them consummate. So that is it. So even after restitution of conjugal decree, they remain silent. they did not restore a matrimonial society for a period of 1 year. That is third ground. Fourth ground is child marriage. Child marriage, in the sense, there are certain circumstances in which at the time of marriage the girl's age was below 15 years. Though when the girl below the age of 15 years is not competent to give free consent, so if that girl can challenge the marriage, can repudiate the marriage by filing petition under section 10 of Hindu Marriage Act, or filing petition under section 13 of 13 for divorce. But the thing is, she should challenge before attaining the age of 18 years. Suppose a girl got married before 15 years of age, before attaining the age of 15 years, if at all she doesn't like to continue the marriage, she can file a petition for judicial separation or divorce before attaining the age of 18 years. If after 18 years completing 18 or 19, she cannot. These are the 4 additional grounds available to women. So 9 grounds are common under section 13 clause 1. 4 more grounds are exclusively for women. So these 13 grounds are called fault grounds. And the second one is the second category. There are irretrievable breakdown grounds, or the second category of grounds are, these are fault grounds. There are some more grounds, they are called breakdown grounds, or irretrievable breakdown. Suppose if the petitioner wants to file a petition for divorce, wants to file a petition for judicial separation, divorce grounds are common. Here, judicial separation. Suppose between them the decree for restitution of conjugal rights is already given by court. That is section 13 clause 1A and subclause 1. Please remember, section 13A relates to alternative relief. Section 13 clause 1A and subsection 1 and 2 provide 4 grounds, provide different grounds. According to section 13 clause 1A, section 13 1A and subclause 1 relates to non-restoration for more than 1 year after judicial separation, non-restoration after restitution of conjugal rights or maintenance petition. So that judicial separation decree not applicable here. Here the court gave decree to the petitioner for restitution of conjugal rights under section 13 clause 1A subsection 2, restitution of conjugal rights. The respondent did not restore matrimonial home, did not restore for more than 1 year, then though the court ordered to come and join, the respondent did not come. Ultimately, the next alternative is judicial separation under section 10 or divorce under section 13. So the first clause 1 relates to decree of judicial 1 year after decree of judicial separation. It will go in it refers to divorce petition only. And next one is by decree of judicial separation, matrimonial relation between husband and wife stands suspended for a period of 1 year. So during this 1 year, wife and husband do not have any rights, duties and obligations except maintenance obligation under section 25 and 26 of Hindu Marriage Act. Children maintenance, alimony, children. Suppose the judicial separation petition may be filed by the couple of more than 10 years old or 20 years old. By that time they may have children. little children or young children or grown up children, whatever it may be, then the children custody, maintenance, education, marriage expenses, such things are to be taken care of. To that effect, husband is having a liability under section 25, 26 of Hindu Marriage Act, section 18 clause 1 and 2 of Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, section 125 CRPC. Woman also is having the liability to of child care under section 25 and 26 Hindu Marriage Act only. So here this maintenance provisions are to be they are not free from obligation with reference to maintenance. This. So in spite of this decree, the matrimonial society is not restored for more than 1 year. Judicial separation is granted under section 10 or divorce is granted under section 13 there. These are breakdown grounds. First one is first 14 are first 13 are fault ground. In the second category, the 4 grounds are these grounds are breakdown grounds are irretrievable breakdown grounds. Next, judicial separation. I told you the decree of judicial separation is granted under 3 instances. Number 1, fault grounds 13, 9 common, 4 extra to woman. 13 grounds under section 13 clause 1 and clause 2. And breakdown grounds section 13 1A and subsection 2 here, and maintenance 25, 26 Hindu Marriage Act, 18 clause 1 clause 2 Hindu Adoption Maintenance Act, 125 CRPC. Even after the decree, matrimonial society is not restored for 1 year and above, then judicial separation is granted. And third category is alternative relief in divorce proceedings. When a person approaches court for divorce, first of all, the decree for judicial separation is obtained. After getting the decree for judicial separation, after if there is a gap of not less than 1 year from the date of marriage to filing the petition for divorce, first stage was over. First stage of judicial proceedings is over. Divorce involves two stages. First stage with reference to judicial separation. Second stage with reference to dissolution of marriage. To take up, the second proceedings are completed, but it is the time now for the court to give decree for divorce. But there are certain special cases. There are certain special circumstances. The court thinks that it is not proper to give decree of divorce, because the court, in the interest of justice, the court would not like to give decree of divorce and resorts to give the decree of judicial separation with a strong inclination to unite the couple in near future, and grants decree of judicial separation. So the petitioner filed petition for divorce, but the court did everything being all right, but the court ought to give divorce, but the court would not like to give divorce, but the court gives only decree of judicial separation. In third situation is, when the petitioner approached court for divorce, the court has a special case, exceptional case, granted the decree of judicial separation, that is third stage. So the judicial separation, the decree of judicial separation can be granted by the court under 3 situations. First situation is fault grounds 13 under section 13 clause 1 and clause 2, and breakdown grounds, non-restoration of matrimonial society after restitution of conjugal rights decree, after decree for maintenance under Hindu Marriage Act, Hindu Adoption Maintenance Act 2125 CRPC, that is breakdown ground. And thirdly, the party approached for divorce, but the court gave judicial separation. These are the various grounds under which a decree for judicial separation can be granted to the petitioner. This is with reference to judicial separation. Next is divorce. So the divorce is three categories. Divorce under section 13, and divorce by mutual consent, and third one is customary divorce. The divorce can be explained under three heads. Suppose when a petitioner wants to dissolve the marriage, he cannot approach the court for divorce section 13. When a petitioner, husband or wife, wants to dissolve the marriage and put an end to matrimonial life and get free in order to get remarried or otherwise, or lead a peaceful isolated life, whatever may be the reason, if either of the spouse, husband or wife, wants to dissolve the marriage, can approach the court for dissolution of marriage by filing a petition under section 13 of the Hindu Marriage Act in district court, or filing petition in family court under section 27 of the Special Marriage Act. So when for dissolution of marriage, the first step is judicial separation. The decree of judicial separation is already over. But even after judicial separation, the parties are not willing to unite. They want to separate, dissolve the marriage. Then the court will decide. The court will start proceedings for divorce. Then some conditions are to be proved. Number one, the parties are the petitioner and respondent are Hindus, and marriage is valid under Hindu Marriage Act. Secondly, they are living separately for the last 1 year or more than 1 year and unable to live together. They filed the petition in strict adherence to Order 7, Rule 1 of the Civil Procedure Code, containing all the particulars. So, if these grounds may be what are the grounds given in judicial separation, fault grounds and breakdown grounds. All the grounds are, any one of the grounds or one or more grounds may be established by the petitioner. If the court thinks that all the conditions are intact with supporting evidence, the court will give the decree of divorce. In extreme cases, the court may give, if the court finds that it is not proper to, even though judicial separation was given earlier and second stage they are coming to divorce, instead of giving divorce, the court may give one more judicial separation as a special relief with a strong inclination to unite the couple. So that is. So with the grounds are common. The conditions is husband and wife are Hindus, married according to Hindu marriage, and they are living together. They are living separately for more than 1 year, unable to live together. Filed petition as per the rules, and all these things are contained. And any grounds under fault grounds are any one of the 13 fault grounds for women, any one of the 9 grounds for men are satisfied, one or more, or any breakdown grounds is established, the court will give decree for divorce. And under section 13A, in extreme cases, exceptional cases, the court may grant this thing, judicial separation. Next, divorce by mutual consent. Divorce by mutual consent in the sense, husband and wife both are not willing to live together. They want to dissolve the marriage. Here, in divorce by mutual consent, in a divorce or judicial separation, one party wants to break the matrimonial home, and in divorce by mutual consent, both husband and wife do not like to live together. They want to dissolve the marriage. So, when both husband and wife want to file a petition for divorce, they can approach the district court and file petition under section 13B of the Hindu Marriage Act. If they want to file the petition for divorce by mutual consent in family court, they have to file petition under section 28 of the 28 of the Special Marriage Act. Section 13B in District Court Hindu Marriage Act, Section 28 Special Marriage Act in Family Court. So the conditions are the husband and wife are living separately for more than 1 year and above, unable to live together. Both are Hindus, and marriage is valid according to Hindu marriage, and the petition is filed as per procedure, section order 7 rule 1 of the CPC and other thing. If everything is there, here there are 3 stages. First stage, first judgment procedure is filing the petition, joint petition. Petition is commonly filed by husband and wife. They will give affidavit and sign jointly. That is first. After petition is filed by husband and wife for divorce by get divorce mutually, the court will not hear that case, try that case immediately. They keep it in pending for 6 months. That is waiting period. The court can keep the petition pending from 6 months to 18 months, so that in order to give an opportunity to couple to rethink and reconcile and withdraw the petitions. Within 6 months to 18 months, if both the parties reconcile and withdraw the petition will be dismissed. They become parties. But if they do not reconcile and the court may take 6 months or less than 18 months anytime. It is court discretion. But in certain cases, the court is having discretionary power to reduce this waiting period or cool period less than 6 months or more than even 18 months also. But there are some grave situations. Husband and wife are very, very eager to dissolve the marriage. They want to dissolve the marriage, fly away to some foreign country and get remarried. They can no more live together even for one more day. There is a serious threat of life, security, but the parties may put a joint application to the court, praying the court, sir, honorable court, we are unable to live together even for one more day. We sincerely, humbly request you to decide our matter as early as possible and dissolve the marriage so that we can become free birds and get remarried or do our own. That is. So, on special application presented, the waiting period may be reduced to less than 6 months and 6 months. And the continuation of waiting period more or less is in the as per the discretion of the court suo moto or against the application of the parties, the court may consider. So then the court will dissolve the marriage by issuing the decree of divorce by mutual consent. But it is said that the decree of divorce by mutual consent, both parties are willing. Both parties are willing in the sense one advocate is necessary. It is argued. Okay, one advocate is necessary to represent both the parties in district court. In family courts, there will be mediators and other technical personnel will there for counseling. Counselors will be there. They will take care of the matter. So now, one more thing is when the unilateral withdrawal is possible. Suppose the very purpose of filing petition for a divorce by mutual consent is husband and wife both must file the petition jointly. But today they filed petition jointly. After a few months, husband wants to withdraw the petition or wife wants to petition. If one party withdraws the petition, whether the petition can be dismissed or not, that is question. So when husband and wife are giving declaration before the court of law under principles of taking oath, it must be done with utmost sincerity, honesty and good faith. Subsequently, it is not proper to either of the spouse to withdraw the consent. Withdraw. If they withdraw, it is not reasonable. It may amount to contempt of court also if the court thinks. But there may be certain circumstances husband or wife do not like to go for divorce by mutual consent and want to restore the matrimonial society, wants to withdraw, may pray the court to consider the withdrawal, explaining the reasons. If the reasons are found genuine, the court will consider the petitioner, co-petitioner, and dismiss the petition that is there. So these are the various issues. When once whether after a decree for judicial separation is granted, after the decree for divorce is granted, the consequences will be no in judicial separation, matrimonial relations are suspended, but the obligations of maintenance will continue for custody and custody, protection and education of children, and divorce also, custody, protection and education of children also will be settled by the parties. Then only the decree for divorce by mutual consent will be given. Finally, a divorce by customary divorce. Section 29 clause 2 of the Hindu Marriage Act deals with customary divorce. According to this customary divorce, in old law there is no provision for customary divorce. Because in olden days marriage was treated as most important auspicious ceremony. It is the strongest relationship. One spouse cannot pledge the other spouse for so easily at any cost. When once man and woman get married, they must live together, struggle together throughout the destiny till reaching the last milestone of their life. They cannot break down the matrimonial ties so easily. There was no provision for judicial separation of divorce in old law, but the provision Manu enunciated that marriage is the most auspicious ceremony. The marital knot, matrimonial tie or marital knot is the strongest knot which cannot be broken out, which cannot be broken out so easily. It cannot, matrimonial relationship cannot be cut off so easily. Marriages are made in heaven and the parties meet on the earth. That is what Manu enunciated. But apart from this, the modern laws, all legislation is in India. The legislations of all religions, Hindu, Muslim, Christian and others, made provision for dissolution of marriage, the partition of marriage, separation of couple by judicial separation and divorce. Accordingly, section 4 and 24 of the Special Marriage Act deal with these aspects, and the petition for section 29 clause 2 of the Hindu Marriage Act deals with customary divorce. And in olden law, there are, before the passing of the Hindu Marriage Act, what was valid in old law is not valid in new law. What was invalid in old law is valid in new law. For example, child marriages were allowed in old law. In new law, child marriage is not allowed. Sagotra marriage, Sapravara marriages are not valid in old law. Sagotra marriage, Sapravara marriages are valid in new law. Widow marriages were not allowed in old law. Widow marriages are allowed in new law. Like that, because of inconsistency of old law and new law, the ultimate object of any court is to unite the couple. So whatever the custom, accordingly, modern law acknowledge and respects and honors the custom, stating that Achara Paramo Dharmaha. Even though section 25 Hindu Marriage Act puts some restrictions of certain customary marriages, according to legislation, certain customary marriages are not valid. But Hindu Marriage Act section 5 legislation is outweighed in the interest of custom. Customary marriages, how customary marriages are allowed. Similarly, there are customary divorce also has been acknowledged. But recently, the Supreme Court in some case, the first marriage of there was a marriage. First marriage, the petition respondent husband said that his customary his marriage with first wife he got divorced customarily and got second marriage. And when the second wife after some time came to know about the first marriage, but the husband tells that it was customarily divorced. But the trial court and high court accepted the customary marriage. But on appeal to the Supreme Court said when this act of husband brought to the notice of the aggrieved party, that time will be taken into consideration in the interest of this innocent woman. It may be outweighed, and the ruling of the trial court and high court was set aside, and the court entertained the appeal of the this thing. So, sir, up and down judgments may be given. The customary divorce mean if any divorce is granted by customary people and elders, it is also acknowledged. These are the various issues relating to customary divorce. So, yes. Next, this is a customary mutual consent, customary divorce. Finally, a distinction between judicial separation and divorce. Section 10 Hindu Marriage Act, the petition for judicial separation can be filed under Section 10 of the Hindu Marriage Act, and Section 23 of the 23 in family court, and there are three situations of judicial separation. Section 10 Hindu Marriage Act, Section 13 1A and Section 13 1